Okay, let me set up where I'm going. Activate. Boom, easy peasy. Straight level, not much going on. Okay, I've got traffic 1,800 feet above me right over here. Going the same direction. So what is my story? Well, first of all, welcome for all of you who are just joining my YouTube channel. This is so cool. I just recently started posting here. Had a couple videos go viral and all of a sudden have 10,000 followers, up from 400. So if you're following along, I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all the fun questions and the banter. And anyhow, yep, my name is Lee, and I am about 8,000 hours professional commercial helicopter pilot. I'm flying a Cub right now. I am dual rated. Got my fixed wing actually first when I was 19 years old. Had a long hiatus and didn't fly airplanes. So I really only have about 500 hours of airplane time. Very, very comfortable in a helicopter. Have to use my brain power a lot more in an airplane. Plus, when you're landing, you got to go fast in these things. It's kind of, it's terrifying. It can be quite terrifying. Anyway, I did the whole civilian route. I went through helicopter school. I paid for it myself. I was 30 years old when I started helicopter school. I was waiting tables at the Four Seasons in Hawaii on the Big Island, and I heard that there was a helicopter school, and I was like, that sounds great. And I told my best friend about it. Actually, I met a guy at a party who told me he was a helicopter pilot. I said, yeah, you just get a loan for 50 grand. You go through school, it takes about a year, and then you teach for another year, and then you have about 1,000 hours, and you go get whatever job you want, because all the Vietnam guys are retiring. There's lots of jobs. And I was like, huh. I had another beer, told Tracy about it. The next day, we both walked into helicopter school. We were both now commercial, professional helicopter pilots. Anyway, yep, so I waited tables for the first half of it, and then I got a loan for 30 grand for the second half of my training. Got my private instrument commercial, CFI, CFII, and then I got the job as an instructor at my school until I got 1,000 hours. And then my first job was with Temsco up in Alaska, flying A-Stars. They give you great training. They pay you peanuts because you're a newbie pilot, and they're giving you all this free training. And then did a season of that in Alaska, landing on glaciers. Got a job back in Hawaii flying tours in an MD-500. Did that for a couple thousand hours, and then went back to Alaska and got into utility flying. That's where I learned how to do long lining, mineral exploration, a lot of geology, a lot of communication tower support, remote construction, moving drills. That was really fun. Precision long lining was was my favorite kind of flying. Really good money. You work all summer long, and then I would take my winters off and I'd go back to Hawaii and just go surfing and hanging out. And then I met my man in Alaska, and we ended up starting our own helicopter business. My man, his name is Mike, heli pilot Mike. He was a private helicopter pilot when I met him and hadn't flown 20 years or something, and so he called me up asking for flight instruction. Yes, that is how we met. And now he gets free flight instruction every day. We joke around that he used me for my helicopter skills, but I use him for his maintenance skills. He's a mechanic, so it's a win-win, really. But anyway, Mike, myself, and another partner, Douglas, we went in on an R-44 together and started a 135 helicopter business out of Valdez, Alaska. It was kind of an accidental business. It was meant to be our private helicopter to use for fun, and I wanted to see if I could break even on the expenses with it, and ended up getting so much work with it that my two partners did not get to fly their machine for fun. So the end of that season, that first season, we ended up taking the profits and buying another brand new helicopter from Robinson. Same thing happened the next year. I hired a pilot. He was busy. I was busy. And then the next year, we bought another one. So yeah, all in all, we bought 3 R-44s, an R-66, an AS-350B2, otherwise known as an A-Star, and a fuel truck, a fuel tank, a hangar, retail shop. We really bootstrapped the business over a decade and built it up. And then we decided that, hey, let's sell the business and get back to doing what we really want to do, and that is fly for fun. So we thought we had a buyer. That fell through. I got short-timer syndrome. I was burned out on, I was chief pilot. I was training newbie pilots how to do long line and how to fly in crazy Alaska weather, and I was doing that year after year after year, and it was just, it was a challenging business. I like being a pilot. I don't necessarily like being a boss. But I did get to train some amazing pilots who have gone on to really great things in their career, so super rewarding. Then COVID hit, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're never going to be able to sell our business. Maybe we should think about just starting to sell off the machines and kind of slowly retire that way. But then all of a sudden everybody went crazy. Everybody was buying lots of things, including businesses. So luckily for us, the hedge fund that bought my company had bought my competitor first. And so they already knew all the clients, they knew the airframes, they knew the type of flying, the missions. So when they took over our business, when we sold it to them, I literally handed my key to the chief pilot, Mike handed his key to the director of operations, and Douglas handed his key to the director of maintenance. And we went like this and walked away clean. Didn't have to stay on and manage it. It was just a dream come true. We kept one R-44 between the three of us. That's my Freedom machine. We bought it. That was the first one we bought brand new in 2013. It's actually coming up on its 12-year overhaul as well as 2,200 hours. We have about 20 hours left on it, so kind of perfect timing. And then Mike and I decided we wanted a bigger helicopter because we wanted to travel all over North America. So we bought the Candy Cane Copter, Bell 505. We bought it brand new from the factory in 2021. And we picked it up in Mirabel, which is Montreal. We took a bag and we ended up just road tripping, well, air tripping for 3 months. And we flew all down the East Coast. We flew the Hudson Corridor, circled the Statue of Liberty. We went to Kitty Hawk. We landed in friends' backyards and had shrimp boils in Georgia. We went, maybe that was North Carolina. We went to the Florida Keys, landed in some really cool spots down there with a buddy. Malcolm, you rock. And then we said, let's keep on going. We hopped out to the Bahamas. We went to Turks and Caicos, went to Dominican Republic. Did some great flying in the Dominican, came back up through that whole area. Stella Maris in the Bahamas was one of my favorite spots. A little place called Cape Santa Maria. Like dreamy, white sandy beaches, turquoise water, like ridiculous. I want to go back there. And then past the airspace ahead. Okay. And we continued our way across the south. We found a super cool hotel in Mississippi. Landed in their yard where Elvis used to stay. Landed at, I mean, all over the place. And I shared the whole thing on Instagram on stories, so people would reach out and say, hey, you're in this place, you should talk to so-and-so, or can you land in my yard? Is it big enough? And like, I'd look on Google Earth and be like, yeah, I think we could do that. Make sure your neighbor's horses are out of the way. And, you know, I never just rock in somewhere. I'm super, super safe and above board on everything I do. Check out for noise ordinances and all kinds of things. Like, I only land in places that are totally legal. Landed on Route 66 in Amway for a root beer float. That was a fun one. And then we took it to Alaska, and we have just been having a blast exploring Alaska in the Candy Cane Copter. And we wintered down in Arizona. So right now I'm in Arizona. I'm flying, we've got this Carbon Cub, which is a nice forgiving machine for someone like me that likes to go slow. And it has lots of power, and it's got all the modern avionics. I love new stuff. Everyone's like, how come we don't have a 500? I'm like, I've got thousands of hours in a 500, and I loved flying that thing, but man, it needed so much maintenance, and it's just these little old, it's just old. I like new stuff. And that's my story. Oh. And I'm the first woman to ever fly the Gravity jet suit off tether. First, I flew the jetpack from Jetpack Aviation, which they're no longer doing. They're focused on other things. There's like an automated hover. I don't know what it's called, but they're focusing on other things right now. And then I met up with Richard Browning at Gravity Jet Suit, and he was looking to put together a team of jetpack racers. And I was like, well, shoot, I had lived on a snowboard in my 20s. I raced border cross. At the time, I was doing handstands every day, so my upper body strength was there, and I'm like, and I'm a helicopter pilot. And he's like, great, let's get you trained up. So I went to the UK and trained with him and got off tether. And then COVID hit, and the whole race got canceled. Our first race was supposed to be in Bermuda, like March of 2020. And yeah, that got shut down. Days before the race, the whole world shut down. So no more jetpack racing. They have continued, and they just had their first race in Dubai. I went there for it. It was awesome, but I didn't compete. I didn't race. I'm on to other things now, and I'm just not strong enough to do it at this point. Maybe if I get back in the gym, but I'm having too much fun doing what I'm doing. So as far as work, I do advanced training for private owners. So especially Bell 505, I can help with taking delivery at the factory. I guarantee you I will find something wrong with that machine before it comes out of the factory. And then I'll do the 25 hours of training that people need for most of their insurance policies. I do advanced training as far as landing off airport. I teach the things that you don't learn in helicopter school, and that's because I have real world experience of actually landing and actually hot unloading and actually towing in and actually finding spots on mountaintops, real world experience, and I can share all the things that you need to mitigate. There's risks in everything, and you just don't know if you don't, without the experience, you don't know what is risk and what is not, and so that's what I train. So, if you have your own helicopter and you haven't worked commercially and you want to learn some things to think about that you may not have otherwise thought about, I'm your girl. But other than that, I'm just flying for fun. And I got traffic, got eyes on them. But yeah, I love photography. I love the things that I get to see sometimes. I mean, it brings me to tears sometimes, the beauty of Alaska that I get to see. And so to be able to try to capture it in a way that kind of brings you along and let other people experience.
43 turning, right base 17, touch go.
And lets other people...
Stellar traffic, Cub, 8 Whiskey Mike, left downwind, runway 17 Stellar.
Runway 17, okay.
Husky 219 Whiskey Yankee, turning final for 17, I'll land long, Mike.
Oh, no hurry, I'm not that close to you.
Anyway,
Range 468, right down.
it brings me a lot of joy to be able to share these beautiful scenes with you guys. So thanks for following along.
The going to be shooting the RNAV 235. We're just doing it visual. We're about 3 miles from Jewel.
I'm out of here. It's too crowded and stellar right now. Gotta burn some more fuel anyway. Burn avgas.
Stellar traffic, Cub 8 Whiskey Mike, turning left base, runway 17 Stellar.
I like to go into stellar when there's...
Traffic, Skyhawk 2122, left downwind, runway 17, number 2, Stellar.
You got the base traffic in sight, Stellar, Skyhawk 2122.
21212, they're out flying all the time.
Husky, clear the runway, Stellar.